Hello, avocado fans. Thank you for joining me today. Before I get started, I wanted to show you one of my newest avocado varieties, and that is the Giant. The Giant is a local Bay Area variety, and people have known about it in the neighborhood it's from for decades now. I know someone who tried the avocados back in the 90s, and he told me about it. He worked in that neighborhood as a UPS driver, and they would give him these 2 to 3 pound avocados. It is slowly becoming a legend on the internet, and here it is right in front of you. I was gifted it by my friends, Jeff Earl, the tropical garden guy, who has a wonderful YouTube channel and is one of my mentors, as well as David Johnson from Modesto, who's been mentoring me for over a decade now, and how to grow all kinds of things, not just avocados. And we talk all the time and we exchange ideas. And this is one that they gifted to me, the Giant. And what I want to show you and talk about today is compare and document my notes on growing avocados in high heat. Where I am, we don't get frost in my location, but I do have to deal with the heat. If I can get my avocados to survive the heat, I know I'm good to go. And this one here, it has having no trouble with our summer temperatures. In the summer, it doesn't get full sun, but it does get a good like 5 to 6 hours of direct sun. But it is fine, which surprised me and concerned me, being such a rare variety. But the reason it's fine, it is because it is from and it is grown. This one was grown in Modesto, so it was already acclimated to high heat, because Modesto temperatures are pretty much the same as mine. So that's what I want to talk about a little bit today, is how to have your avocados acclimate to your temperatures. My temperatures are much like the Inland Empire in Southern California, where I get a lot of triple digits. The difference is in the winter, my temperature is about 10 degrees colder than it is in Inland Empire. I originally grew up in Walnut in Southern California, and so I have a good idea of what the temperatures are like there, and what the winters are like. And the winters here are colder, but not extreme. But what I want to say is, the issue is with avocados in the high heat is the shock. If you get your avocados, like this one right over here, from a place where it is much colder and cooler, and you put it in the ground, your tree is going to go into shock. This has made a great comeback though. And this is the surprise, because although they don't normally grow these in the Bay Area, inland surprise can do very well. When I visited Jeff, he had a surprise, and it was heavily loaded with avocados, which was very impressive, because this year some of our trees aren't fruiting. So I'm taking note on which ones are, because those are the more reliable varieties. I want to thank Evan. I got this tree from him. He gave me this tree. And look, I took a stick of budwood and I put it on this rootstock as a backup surprise, which I'll probably end up gifting to somebody else. And it is in this spot because this spot only gets a couple hours of direct sun. So it's essentially growing in the shade, but it's going to obviously grow taller and above the fence line, and it'll get all that sun there eventually. Surprise is a wonderful variety. I tried one years and years ago, or actually a bunch of them, and I went through my notes on my phone, and I saw that I was texting a friend that, to me, it had the creaminess of reed and the nuttiness of Hass. So obviously, when I realized I can grow this here, I jumped on it. And let me show you over here. what happened to a tree that did get damaged from the sun. If you see a few videos back, that was this Carmen. This Carmen was a lot bigger and had a lot more growth and vigor, for that matter. But look, it's coming back. So what did I do? I pulled it. I pulled it and I put it in a pot for the summer. And it got used to the temperatures. And now it is bouncing back. Like a coach with their players on the field, you have to know when it's time to take your players out of the game. If you're going to grow avocados in extreme temperatures, you have to watch them every day, and sometimes you're going to have to pull them out. Now you could also just grow something like a Zutano, which I was playing with for a while, and that is a excellent, probably the best beginner's avocado I've seen. You plant that thing, no matter what the temperature is, that thing is going to survive. Of course, you want to water regularly, but that is a tough avocado, and it grows straight up 20 to 30 feet. Does it taste like Hass? No, it doesn't. But you could leave it on the tree like 6 months, from October, November, all the way into summer, and still eat them. And it's a big buttery avocado, which keeps getting better. Unfortunately, in the stores, in the shops, they pick them early, so there's not much flavor. So it gets a bad rap, but it really is basically a big buttery avocado that just gets better with time. Great pollinizer, great seedling for rootstock. And I had one, but someone gifted me a tree, so I had to put it somewhere, and I'll show you that next. Before I do, speaking of beginning avocados, look at this one. It's 100 degrees here in Brentwood today, and look, no problems. This is a Mexicola, another great tree if you're having trouble growing avocados, whether it's extreme heat or cold. Look on the bottom. This is all new growth that just came in this summer. When the heat comes, this tree loves it. The fact is, these avocados, they like heat. And in fact, they like direct sun. I would link a video Greg Alder shows of the difference between an avocado tree that gets a lot of direct sun and one that doesn't. And you can see. In fact, I can show you over here myself with my mangoes. Let's go over here around this tomato, all these tomatoes and my bananas. And look over here. Look at this mango. This mango gets more direct sun than its sibling. And you can see it is above the stake. The stakes are about the same height. But this one it's always pushing out new growth. You can see the red leaves. This mango has doubled in size this summer. And it's because it had been getting all this direct sun. This is approaching about 4 feet. Now look at its sibling, which doesn't get as much direct sun. It's going to grow. It's going to be fine. But it is about a foot shorter. It is here at 3 feet. And you can see some of the red leaves, not as much new growth. And it's because it gets it gets more shade by the peach tree than its sibling. But that's okay. It's still going to grow. The same with avocados. Eventually they'll get there. But I want to show you what happens when they get acclimated. You can see over here, this one is suffering. And I could have kept it in a pot and kept it in the shade like I did the Carmen. But you know what? This is fine. Again, as a coach, you have to know when it is time to pull a player from the field. I don't need to pull this one off the field. You can see the new growth is suffering. The plant is in stress. But look, it is all green. There's really no burn. It's got its old leaves. It's got its new leaves. It's going to be fine. It is adjusting. It is acclimating. And meanwhile, the roots are expanding into the ground, which is going to make it a good, strong, healthy tree. The healthier the tree, the less likely you're going to have issues with extreme temperatures. So this has a tomato cage and a shade cloth. In this case, it's a burlap sack. Let me go ahead and cover it up because it is 100 today. The good news is it is approaching the end of August. And it's only going to get cooler from here. And it's going to be fine. And the last one I want to show you, again, going back to acclimating, is this tree. This was gifted to me by my friend Elias. Thanks, Elias. This was a reed tree that that he wanted removed. He grows other varieties, and he ran out of room, and his water bill was high, so he decided, okay, it's time to make a change, which I fully understand. I make changes a lot, and for a number of reasons. One, it's because I'm trying to research the most productive varieties. Two, I want varieties that aren't going to be huge, so I'm not in my 70s constantly pruning these every year and climbing up ladders. And I want variety. Well, let me show you this one. This is a reed. Reed does excellent in Brentwood. And look, to my surprise, it has new growth already. And that's shocking because this has been in the ground 5 days. And when we pulled it out of the ground, it had a big root ball, like the size of a beach ball. And I didn't think it was going to make it. I was scared because the roots were very well established. And having been that I've moved big trees before, I was really nervous. I didn't want to see this decline. But look, it is growing. It is growing back very well. Look, there's new buds right there. And this time, rather than take off all the branches, I only took off the big ones, and I took off about half of it. But I also want to show another thing, a little commercial here. And I'm only showing it because it worked for me. I don't gain anything from this. But I'm here to share and exchange knowledge with you and make friends. And that is why I give you my secrets. The Ascamote Plus. Now this is the one. If you want a strong fertilizer that's going to help get your young trees well established and good going, this is the one I recommend. It is the one Gary Matsuoka, Laguna Hills, recommends and uses. And I've realized by growing avocados for well over 10 years now, is the reason the trees look beautiful in the nursery is because it has this in it. It has Ascamote Plus, and then you go home and you plant it and you don't use Ascamote Plus, your tree goes in decline because it doesn't have it anymore. So the good news about this is you only need it twice a year. I do not use it on big trees. I only use it on my little trees to get them going and get them strong. Then I'll switch to organic fertilizers. And then if you want, no fertilizer. Also, another thing I want to add is Gary Matsuoka recommends fertilizing from June to November, not when the trees are flowering. And I like that because I've seen where I fertilize in the spring and the flowers drop and I don't get much fruit. And now I realize that's it. I would wait till after the flowers. Unlike my other trees, I would wait after the flowers are gone, which is again probably June, and then you could add it, because I don't really think, honestly don't think avocados really need fertilizer, but to get established, I'm willing to do what I have to do to get them going, because in Northern California, we often wait 5 to 10 years to get fruit, and that's a long time. The way the life is and the way people move constantly, I don't want to wait 5 to 10 years to see what this fruit tastes like. I mean, trust me, it's I know people that have moved after just a couple years in a house. I don't want to be that guy. I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying in California, but you know, who wants to wait 10 years to see if they like the fruit on the tree they got? So I'm recommending Ascamote Plus. That's kind of a new thing for me in my notes and catalog, and to get the trees going. And I'm saying it here because I think that is what has helped this tree bounce back and thrive, because it's getting some essential nutrients and it's getting what it needs to grow. So I'm feeding it well. All right, guys, thank you for watching my video. Please leave any comments or anything that you found interesting or has worked for you, or anything you disagree with, because again, growing avocados, there is no right way, there is no wrong way, there are just different ways. And I'm always learning. I've been doing this for over 10 years and learning, and I know in 10 years I'm going to learn more, and I'll probably see things very differently then as well. All right, guys, you have a great day, and I appreciate all you contribute, and I appreciate you watching my videos.